What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. We hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that if you are a big-time NFL free agent, that the Dallas Cowboys have called you. It is our hope. We don't think it's that likely, but we can still hope it nonetheless. It is Thursday, the third day. Shout out to Joey Tribbiani, March 18th, 2021, as mentioned. And want to let you know we're recording this about 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time just because things are constantly changing in the NFL with free agency being here now. In fact, little peek behind the curtain, I'd actually started recording this video, and then the Cowboys, made a move. Dallas Cowboys made a big-time free agent signing. We will get there, of course. Want to remind you that we have been recapping free agency every single day here on the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel because we know that things are constantly happening, and that's why we're here. We are here to serve you, the loyal, wonderful, magical, beautiful Dallas Cowboys fan that you are. We ask that you please subscribe right here to the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to our podcast feed. We put out a podcast every single day, different people, different hosts. That way you get different perspectives when it comes to America's team. We are available on all major podcast platforms, but here on YouTube, we jump around a couple of times a week. Like I said, we've been here a lot this week as free agency has been going on, but we have film reviews, breakdowns, discussions, live, things that we do, all sorts of stuff. So subscribe and we can have a whole bunch of fun together. Let's get into what the Dallas Cowboys did on Thursday. We actually have to start with something they did on Wednesday. I mentioned how time is important, context is important, because like 20 seconds after we ended our live show on Wednesday, the Dallas Cowboys did this. They brought back Jordan Lewis, the veteran cornerback, on a 3-year deal. Look, we've been saying for a long time. In fact, we said it in Wednesday's live show that, the Cowboys cornerback situation is a bit in flux, needless to say. Obviously, they have Trayvon Diggs and Anthony Brown, but they really needed to bring back one of Chidobe Awuzie or Jordan Lewis. We found out earlier in the week that Chidobe Awuzie is headed to join Joe Burrow's Bengals. Man, say that sentence 5 times fast. Join Joe Burrow's Bengals. Join Joe Burrow's Bengals. It's tough. But either way, so it kind of felt somewhat likely, at least in my mind, or possible, very possible, however you want to kind of term it, that Jordan Lewis would return. Is he an elite cornerback? No, but Jordan Lewis, I don't want to compare him and Cheeto, and say who's better, who would you rather have, whatever. And I think everyone's going to say Jordan Lewis now because that's who the Cowboys ultimately ended up with. I think that the peaks of Jordan Lewis that we've seen from both of them, remember they were draft mates in 2017. The Cowboys took Cheeto in the second round, Jordan in the third round. They, of course, took Taco Charlton in the first round. Good times. And by the way, that 2017 draft class is going to be relevant in just a moment. But the peaks of Jordan have been great. We've seen some big-time moments, kind of not a turnover machine, but somebody who's just great at really great football instincts is I think the best way to put it. Cheeto definitely had, I think some more some physical assets that you really liked and really kind of Cheeto in a lot of ways looks like an elite cornerback just in his size and his physical makeup, and so it always made sense that he would get to that point. It never happened with the Cowboys. We're certainly rooting him on with the Bengals, but it is a good thing to see the Cowboys get Jordan Lewis back. So now their depth is Trayvon Diggs, Anthony Brown, and Jordan Lewis. They still should go out and sign a veteran corner, even if they do want to draft Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley. And in fact, something else that happened in the time that we started to re-record this, the Chicago Bears moved on from veteran Kyle Fuller. Now, look, we already, banged the Adoree Jackson drum here on the show. What are you waiting for? I mean, if seriously, Cowboys, what are you waiting for? And look, this is a tweet from Ian Rappaport. In case you want me to read it out to you, want to hear my beautiful voice. The Bears are releasing, that's an important word, releasing veteran cornerback Kyle Fuller, a cap casualty. Hey, you pay Andy Dalton, all of a sudden you got to make some tough decisions. And the important thing about that word releasing is just like Adoree Jackson, who was released by the Tennessee Titans, is that Kyle Fuller will not count against the compensatory pick formula. We have been talking so much this week. Hopefully you have learned, if you did not know, that the Dallas Cowboys love, they value, they prioritize in some senses compensatory picks. And so they can go out, they can get a very legitimate, very almost, I would use the word awesome. I feel like not enough people use, like, let's bring awesome back. Like, there's all sorts of stuff now, like cool, whatever, but let's bring awesome back. And you can get an awesome cornerback in Kyle Fuller who won't count against the compensatory formula. And if you add him to this group that now has Jordan Lewis, Trayvon, Anthony Brown, and then you do go out and draft Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley, get Kyle Fuller in here on a 1-year deal. I mean, what's the harm in that? This helps everybody. A rising tide that lifts all boats, so to speak. So fingers crossed that if the Cowboys, their free agency so far has been kind of I gave it a C+ grade on Wednesday's live show. It's still that. We still have a few moves to discuss here, but if you go out and you get one of those two corners, Adoree Jackson or Kyle Fuller, that C+ maybe bumps up to maybe not even a B minus, maybe a B. I mean, I might be willing to go that far. But let's move on. So the Cowboys on Thursday did a lot of work. This always made sense that the Cowboys were going to do more work on Thursday than on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, because that is the Dallas Cowboys way. And in fact, when Monday began, the Cowboys only had 2 players that they had signed or agreed to terms in terms of being outside additions, players that were not within the Cowboys organization this past season. They brought back a lot of guys like Jordan Lewis. But before Thursday really got going, all they had to show for in terms of outside additions was Jake McQuaid, the long snapper, and Ty Nsekhe, the offensive tackle. The Cowboys, though, kicked the party off on Thursday morning by bringing in defensive tackle Carlos Watkins. Now, Carlos, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that he makes the team. I mean, this is that move. I mean, this is that move. I know that this conversation or this argument goes a number of directions, but if you put some stock, some legitimate stock, and I think that they are deserving of stock in PFF, they're great, they're geniuses in a lot of different ways. In terms of defensive grades that PFF handed out in 2020, Carlos Watkins graded lower defensively than every single Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle in 2020, and that includes Dontari Poe. We're all rooting for him, right? But this is a classic Cowboys signing. You know, a cast-off whose rookie contract with his team expired, that they're hopeful they can turn around, and they add again to a position group that is just kind of being overlooked. I mean, we can sit here and scream about safety and defensive tackle. The Cowboys play in the same division as Fletcher Cox. They lost a playoff game to Aaron Donald a couple of years ago. I don't know what more they need to see to understand that it's a position of serious importance, and no disrespect to Carlos Watkins, but this isn't that. And so, I mean, you look at depth at that position, right? I think the future of the position, hopefully, is Tristan Hill and Neville Gallimore. We'll see what the situation is with Gerald McCoy. He is still, at the time of this recording, a free agent. Now you have Carlos Watkins. The Cowboys did tender Antoine Woods, but there's not a lot there that's going to win you some football games, and that is a really troubling situation. And so Carlos Watkins, the newest member of the Dallas Cowboys defensive line, if he wears number 91 and just takes it from LP Ladouceur, I won't feel great about it. I'll just say it that way. The Dallas Cowboys did see Blake Bell, the Bell-dozer, depart in free agency on Thursday. He played 1 year with the Cowboys this past season, got a little bit into the action late on. Obviously, the tight end position changed dramatically this past season when Blake Jarwin was hurt in week 1, but the Bell-dozer, he's going back to the place where I don't know what song I was going to sing, but he's going back home, going to Kansas City, where he was part of the Kansas City Chiefs team that won the Super Bowl in 2019. Obviously, their tight end situation is awesome with Travis Kelce. I think he's great depth. I really do. I mean, and I think it's really awesome that he'll be used by somebody, not that, Kellen Moore's not creative, but somebody like Andy Reid. There wasn't a ton of Blake Bell, action in Kansas City before. I believe that he caught the first touchdown when the Chiefs made their huge comeback against the Houston Texans in the divisional round 2 years ago. But I hope there's a home for him. I think I speak for all of us. Was a great Cowboy, contributed to the cause, and hopefully things work out for him back in Kansas City. But the Cowboys, I mentioned Carlos Watkins, they were not done. No. The Dallas Cowboys have another new interior defensive lineman, Brent Urban, who got, again, this is classic Cowboys, a 1-year deal. Now, these are, it depends where you look, but these are defensive tackles, Carlos Watkins and Brent Urban. And so they're going to play on the interior for the Dallas Cowboys. And this one I'm low-key kind of hyped about. Brent Urban is somebody who is an incredible run defender. You talk about PFF scores, one of the better run defenders out there, and graded really well, again, in an overall defensive, space. I talked about how Carlos Watkins, in just overall defensive grades, graded lower than every Cowboys defensive tackle this past year. Well, Brent Urban graded higher than every single Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle, although that's not exactly a high bar to clear. He was the 22nd overall ranked interior defender, again, in terms of overall defensive grades per Pro Football Focus. This is the true, that might be something 1-year deal bargain bin find, right? Sometimes, when you're bargain shopping, places have the bargain DVDs and you're looking and it's like all these straight to DVD movies or whatever. But then you find The Departed and you're like, wow, how is this in this box? That might be what this is. I mean, I'm hopeful. I really am. This is my favorite free agent signing so far for the Cowboys, and so I'm excited to see about it. His wife actually broke the news on Twitter, which was very cool to see. So Brent Urban, a new member of the Dallas Cowboys, very cool to see. Again, the news that caused us to have to re-record. The Dallas Cowboys have a new pass rusher. So they took care of the interior, and now they have a pass rusher linebacker that's played edge in a 4-3 system before in Terrell Basham. Now, Basham is somebody who had a lot of hype around him in the 2017 NFL draft. I told you we would get back to that coming out of Ohio. And there's potential there, right? Like this is another instance of the Cowboys saying, hey, let's go back to what a lot of people once thought highly of, something we can get for cheap now, because whatever has happened, Basham's bounced around. This will be his third team in the NFL. Didn't last long with the Indianapolis Colts. The team that actually drafted him has been with the New York Jets ever since. So, I mean, this is, the Cowboys need a running mate for DeMarcus Lawrence. This is not that, to be very clear. And I know I love Randy Gregory as much as you do, but your options now, like my worry here with Terrell Basham is that this is going to be somebody who takes away snaps from Bradley and I, because there's already an issue with getting him snaps. You've already got Randy Gregory, right? And you already have, Bradley and I. You also have Dorrance Armstrong, who Jerry Jones very, publicly has a lot of affection for. And now you have Basham. And so that's before the NFL draft. There's also Joe Jackson. I mean, there's bodies there, and so this is really that. This is just another body for the Cowboys as far as I'm concerned. But, hopefully it works out. But that made for the third signing the Cowboys made on Thursday alone. Again, Joseph Tribbiani once said that Thursday was the third day, so it's appropriate that the Cowboys would get a hat trick's worth of moves. Full tracker, we don't have Basham's name up on here at the moment because we did have to kind of scramble to get this video up because we care about you. We wanted it to get up as soon as possible. So far, the Dallas Cowboys in free agency have lost, they've lost LP Ladouceur, who isn't on this list because he isn't on a new team yet, but they have lost Cam Irving to the Carolina Panthers, Joe Thomas to the Houston Texans, Chidobe Awuzie, as noted, to the Cincinnati Bengals, Andy Dalton to the Chicago Bears, Chris Jones, who was released, a different situation from LP Ladouceur, who's just not being brought back, and now tight end Blake Bell. They have brought back a number of players, as we've spoken about. Noah Brown, Cedric Wilson, Antoine Woods, and Antoine were actually tendered. CJ Goodwin, the special teams ace, and yesterday on Wednesday, Jordan Lewis. Again, the Cowboys couldn't get that done even like a minute earlier. If not, we would have had a chance to talk about it on our live show. But now the Cowboys have 5 outside free agent additions. Long snapper Jake McQuaid, offensive tackle, likely the swing tackle of the Dallas Cowboys in 2021, Ty Nsekhe. Defensive tackles, Brent Urban and Carlos Watkins, and now pass rusher Terrell Basham. Again, a meh, an okay haul so far. This is what was to be expected by the Cowboys. I mean, this was always going to be what they were going to do. And so if you were expecting anything more, I know I kind of did. We would just, we let ourselves kind of get caught up in the romanticism of it all. An interesting note, final thing to note here before we leave, just because you're a football fan, I'm a football fan, so I think this is important. On Thursday, it was announced that the NFL finalized their media rights deals, again, for the next several thousand years. This is interesting in that it is worth $10 billion annually. That's listen to that sentence, $10 billion. That's billion with a B annually, or as the tweet from Sports Business Journal notes, $110 billion over the course of the 11-year deals. The biggest change we'll see Thursday Night Football move exclusively to Amazon Prime. Now, maybe you don't pay attention to this stuff. I find it to be fascinating. Over the last few years, Thursday Night Football has bounced around. It's always been simulcast on NFL Network. You've always been able to watch it on NFL Network along with, major cable programming. It's been on CBS before. Half of the games were on NFL Network only. Half were on NFL Network and CBS. Then that package moved to NBC. Then it moved to Fox. Then Amazon Prime got involved. This past season, actually, this feels kind of forgotten. The San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals played, I believe it was a Saturday game, exclusively on Amazon Prime. You could only watch it on Amazon Prime. Lots of great shows on Amazon Prime. Obviously, my wife and I are watching Suits. I've seen it before, but she hasn't, and I'm a loving husband, so I'm watching it and really enjoying it. But, it's because she wanted to watch it, so, hey, points for me. But the NFL will now stream Thursday Night Football exclusively on Amazon Prime. So that means every Thursday you must have Amazon Prime to watch Thursday Night Football. You're going to have a Roku or a PlayStation or an Xbox or smart TV, something to get your whole situation going so that you can watch Thursday Night Football. The Cowboys will play one game on this package, so that will probably come later in the season. Remember, that was the game in Baltimore that was supposed to be on a Thursday night, but ended up getting played the following Wednesday because of the rescheduling due to the COVID protocols and everything. But that is a big deal. I mean, I talk all the time about how cool it is that we can sit here and talk about football from wherever we are in the world. It is kind of sick that, I mean, we are in a day and age where the NFL, and people say that the NFL is the most popular sport in the world. I'm not going to say that because I know that European soccer exists. I mean, Friday is the Champions League draw and the Europa League draw. I mean, but still, by far the most popular sport in the United States and generally one of the most popular sports in the world now has a prime time game every week that is exclusively streamed online, not on cable television. That is a huge deal. Obviously, there is a huge deal in this being worth $110 billion. So this is what we've talked about before. You've heard people likely say, myself, once the television contracts hit, the salary cap's going to rise. Think about this, $10 billion annually. That is annually going to impact the NFL salary cap, which means next year things are going to really climb and go up, which is why Cowboys, go get Kyle Fuller, go get Adoree Jackson, go get somebody, help out your defense, because right now you're not doing much. You're just bringing in some cast-offs, and that's not going to be enough when it's all said and done. But still very cool. If you have an Amazon Prime show recommendation, let me know. It's not on Amazon Prime, but I've been meaning to watch The Crown, so we'll see how that ultimately goes. That's something that my wife has seen that, I might cash that chip in now that I said that out loud. Hey, I watch Suits for you. You watch The Crown for me. So it is what it is. But that about does it for Thursday's action. Again, we recorded this about 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's about 6:45 now at the end of this. So if something happens after that, apologies. But if there is anything that is ever happening within the world of the Dallas Cowboys, you know that we will have you covered at bloggingtheboys.com. Your home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the web. Right here on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe. And on the Blogging the Boys podcast feed, we do get emergency podcasts up as well. So maybe if you're driving, if you're on the move, you're working out, you're walking the dog, and you only want to listen, you can search for us on your podcast provider. Subscribe, leave a rating, write a review. Those things make us happy. But yeah, for now, let's, the Dallas Cowboys have 5 new outside additions. What's not to love about that? But tomorrow is Friday. And so, we'll see what happens if we're truly getting down or not. If things are, maybe the Cowboys are saving the best for last for this week. Maybe Friday's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it is, and I hope you have the best Friday ever. I hope you have the best week ever. You know why? Because you deserve it. We'll see you next time.